Hey, everybody, welcome to No Vacancy Live. That is right. I am live back from a 10-day road trip. I want to thank my good friends over at my place. Thanks so much for letting me open up your conference and help you share everything that's great about your company. What a fun day that was. Then I went off to rented a car out of Tucson and went to Tucson and drove myself to Laughlin, Nevada. I had never checked out that market before. And you know how much I love hospitality, how much I love those casino resorts. And I wanted to see what it was like. And I'm going to share more about that in our Friday night audit show. And then I was over at Vegas where I did lots of great interviews. I got a fantastic walk and talk video coming up with the general manager of South Point, a casino resort off the strip, probably about 10 miles off the strip. You can see the strip over there. So I didn't really think it was going to be something, but I showed up and it was one of the coolest resorts I have been to. Pleasantly surprised. You're going to see all my reactions in that video. But today we're going to be talking about design. We're going to go a little bit behind the scenes and really understands what motivates design, what design can do, and how it can help your hospitality world. And we've got a great guest with us today who's done great projects all over the world. Let's welcome Paul Bishop of Bishop Design. Paul, so great to see you, man. Now, likewise. How are you today? Where are you today?
Okay, I'm actually in Miami. I've been living on a plane for the last couple of months, but back in the 305, so all good.
Yeah, awesome. How do you like Miami these days?
I love it. I mean, it's got such a dynamic, right? I mean, we've kind of been sort of hovering around here for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
A bit of a shift from Dubai. Where I've been 28 years over there, right, in the market. So you can see the dynamic is very similar, though. You know, it's got similar mindset. You know, developments going on. It's great for hospitality, like we were saying. And no, it's a really sort of positive vibe and energy around the demographic here at the moment. Exactly. Great place to be. I love it. Absolutely.
That's for sure. So you've been in Dubai 28 years, and now you're here. And so for people that don't realize, Dubai around that time made the big decision that they were going to be the tourist destination for that whole part of the world, right? So we've seen insane types of development. And like Las Vegas, they helped in a huge way, I think, push that design dialogue forward that then spread like fire around the world. It really helped set a backbone for the experiences that we all love on the road today. And you, sir, were a big part of that. So that's really one reason why I wanted to talk to you today. The other is I really want to talk about creating great brands through design. And those two really came together. So what got you over to Dubai, and what was that whole experience like, helping to redefine what design is over there?
It was, you know,
I've got some pictures as well that we could share in a little project.
Sounds amazing. But yeah, it was the Wild West at those days, right? Over in Dubai. I mean, not many people knew what it was about. Definitely Dubai wasn't on anyone's lips. You know, no one had heard of the area. No one had heard of the Emirates. You know, there was certain, you know, people's interest around with Saudi and Kuwait and these sort of elements for the wrong reasons, obviously. But yeah, Dubai kind of, you know, really sort of set that sort of benchmark for things to happen. And when I went over there, you could feel that there was an energy, that you could feel there was something happening. I mean, I got told that I was 10 years ahead of Dubai at the time, and I said, well, I think you should look at the rest of the world, because I think Dubai is 20 years behind, you know. So it was something that, you know, you could feel these things happening. It was very sort of lazy at the beginning, but all of a sudden there was this sort of mentality shift in the air, and like people who were coming in, people who had studied abroad in the US and the UK and Europe, and they were coming back with different mentalities. And these were locals who, you know, were coming into positions of power, positions where they could make decisions and change this whole infrastructure around them. And they started to identify, you know, what was missing, and the whole thing was driven then by hospitality. And like you said, Glenn, about tourism as well. They tried to target and become a real tourist destination. That was Dubai. I mean, you have the other Emirates around, Abu Dhabi, you know, that's oil rich, that's sort of natural research.
Oil rich, let me just throw that out. I think one of the prevaricating factors was they were concerned that they had like a 50, 75-year supply of oil, and they wanted to,
benefit,
when they had that benefit, they would have some other financial drivers. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, like I say, Dubai, with the leadership and vision it had, it was, integral to this whole change. And, I was lucky to be there at the time. I just finished my master's degree. I got taken out straight from the UK. And I was like, wow, what have I done? And it was a whole new learning curve over there. It was, like I say, there wasn't much. There was a couple of restaurants, a couple of bars, a couple of nightclubs that you frequented. And basically the whole of Dubai expat scene was sort of in this sort of area at the same time.
And they didn't have places like the Burj Al Arab and the Palm.
Nothing at all, nothing at all. Trade Center was the biggest, most iconic structure at the time. Now it's dwarfed with the urban scape of Dubai and the city skyline that's appeared, and Dubai is very migrational as well. It's something where it's not particularly planned. It's very organic in its sort of infrastructure, or it has been. It's been very sporadic, a lot like London and these other places around the world that obviously are generated by having this sort of more sporadic evolution rather than a grid planning system. Abu Dhabi is very gridded, it's very structured, but it's also not as lively or impactful as Dubai. I think Dubai has something unique, and like I say, it's through the vision, and then all of these things started coming into place. There was demand for F&B, there was demand for tourism, hotels. Now it's gone full circle, and casinos are coming.
Yep.
Which is we got really
incredible. And since I spoke to, I don't know if you know this awesome gentleman, Todd Avery Lanahan. He was formerly of Tile. Now he's with. They bought him. He's Win. Check out my show from April at the Win Studios, the Sirius XM studios there, where we talked all about the Saudi Arabia project that they're currently
brilliant. Involved. Yeah, that one, the Win there, they're actually putting in Ras Al Khaimah, which is one of the Emirates over there. So again, you can see this shift. It's gone full circle. They've identified that they need something more now. And like I say, casinos is something that they're tapping into. We have Caesars, we have the Atlantis, we have all of these. The Bulgari is there, Bellagio is coming. Everything has this sort of plug and play component to it.
Right.
So, there was got to be a shift between Saudi and Dubai, because Saudi's putting a lot of, I would say finance and impact into creating something unique. They want a lot more brands that Dubai doesn't have, because they don't want to just be a copy paste of what Dubai's done. So they're targeting, it's a great marketplace over there at the moment, because they're targeting, some phenomenal brands in F&B, in hospitality, in operations. They're looking into the US market to bring that in as well,
Right. So what we're really talking about is a great opportunity for you to work with budgets that you don't always get to see. And you've created
this is a misconception, Glenn. This is absolutely a misconception. And I've been talking about this in the US and in Miami when I'm at these sort of panel talks and stuff. The budgets are actually very strict. People think there's unlimited wealth and unlimited money, but they drive the costs down. I've seen budgets here actually being bigger, but it's because things cost different values. Labor over in the Middle East and Dubai, the manual labor, the demolition, the infrastructure, putting up your drywalls when you're in construction, that's relatively affordable cost. Whereas you're seeing in the US, it's actually quite a high cost because it's skilled labor. So again, you've got this paradigm shift going on. It's like, well, is there an unlimited budget? Is there not? We try to avoid value engineering, because we want to stick with the design intent. But it's a bit of a misconception. There isn't an unlimited sort of fountain of gold.
So how do you think about taking a brand that you're working with and defining that brand through design and having that, connote what that design is supposed to be, while also simultaneously creating an environment where you get people to spend money?
But this is it. I mean, I think over in the Middle East and over in Dubai, I think F&B's at the forefront of everything over there. Everyone wants to dine, everyone wants that experience.
Yeah.
You go over there now and you'll be hard put to find a reservation in places. They're full. Day in, day out. It's not a weekend phenomenon. It's an everyday occurrence. So there's, some great brands coming in. We've been integral to that, bringing these phenomenal sort of brands to the table. You know, we brought in Massimo Bottura when we did Torno Subito over on the Palm at the W. So again, that's becoming an international franchise now and rolling out into this demographic that just opened up in Miami. There's one in Singapore. So again, you know, it's kind of we're exporting design out of the region now, which is great.
Yeah.
But we've got all the good brands coming in, so you kind of spoiled for choice. I go back to the UK. You know, I walk around different cities in the US and Miami, and yes, we are getting sort of you know, inundated with these beautiful sort of concepts and F&B experiences. But when you go back to the Middle East and Dubai, you kind of spoiled for choice. It's absolutely ridiculous of the amount of choice you have and the brands that are coming in.
That you have, then you really risk not being top of mind. So how do you create a design that resonates in a way that creates that top of mind moment so people choose a place you've designed over somewhere else?
Exactly. I mean, that all starts at the drawing board and with the client, right? You got to have that sort of relationship with the client. You've got to have the common understanding that you want to be the best. You want to create something unique, like you said, that resonates with the end user. And I think, you know, like I said, designing in the Middle East has a different mindset. You know, we do things differently, more efficiently. In some cases where the times, it's all about time and turnover as well. And I think what they see over there is, you know, to be operational is more beneficial for them. So, you know, design times, construction times are very, very, you know, I would say limited. You're kind of turning over a full project in 4 weeks for build.
Really?
To get on site. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then you have like a 3 to 4 month fit out period as well. So, you know, people are very eager to get open because there's so much competition in the market. So you've got to bring them something that kind of connects differently with them. You know, we got a few venues that we created. In Fuego was one of them over in Atlantis. Wave House was another where we actually put a flow ride, a wave machine, and developed this whole thing within the Atlantis water park. And then it was multidisciplinary as well. You had bowling, you had, you know, redemption areas for gaming. You had, you know, a dining experience, a bar experience, a live band performance, rooftop. So again, it was all these beautiful different components that started to gel together. So it could basically capture a complete audience. You know, it's in Atlantis. It's a family sort of generated and positioned, you know, hotel offering. So create a venue that could offer everything to everyone in that family. And it sprawled over this huge space. It was around, what, 5,000 square meters, 50,000 square feet. And, you know, it was sprawling and it was multi-leveled. And even like taking old, you know, voids, some fire escapes and creating, you know, soft play climbing frames through these areas. You used every inch of that space.
I happen to have some pictures of play, so I'm going to.
Oh, play's beautiful.
I'm going to bring that up since we're talking about this sort of stuff. So let me bring it up. Where is this that we're looking at?
Plays in Vegas. Yeah, there's play.
Wait, are you kidding me?
Where on the operating table there?
Wait. Where is this in Vegas, bro?
This is in the
Area 15.
Luxor. It's in the MGM Luxor. Yeah,
it is.
So it used to be, well, it's next to Blue Man Group.
I just left Vegas yesterday and I had no idea.
You should have gone, Glenn. You should have gone. You should have operated on play.
I'm in Vegas 6-7 times a year. So,
but we're putting one in Nashville. We're actually doing one in Nashville now, which is great because it's you know, it's going to be adapted to fit obviously Nashville's demographic, what's around there, you know, with the music scene, live performance. So again, this is something that's evolving. You know, the first one was in Vegas. It was kind of designed for Vegas. You know, the Ringer Run here, you know, it's an incredible game. So it's all about being a child again. It's about putting your phone down, you know, leaving it somewhere, not being connected to the world but through, you know, virtual media. You know, it's about getting back to grassroots and having fun in a playground and having that tangible element. And you know, everything's oversized, everything's sort of, you know, fun and engaging, and it's just, you know, it's just bringing the child out in every adult again. So obviously it's fueled by alcohol, which makes it even more fun. But you know.
All right. So I'm declaring a new Vegas trend right here because after seeing this and swingers coming to Mandalay Bay, which is miniature golf.
Yeah, swingers is a great concept as well, right? You know, you got electric shuffle, you got swingers. You got Flight Club, which is darts. I mean, all these things. We're doing multiple venues in in through the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. Like I say, we're bringing play to Nashville now. So Play Playground's coming to Nashville soon.
So what's going on, do you think, behind this trend? Why all of a sudden are people saying we need to connect with our childhood in a way that's different from just like the nostalgia play, but you're actually playing play?
Like I say, I think you're just elevating the overall experience. You know, you got a dining component to it, you got a drink component, you know, so you got this food and beverage element, but it's all about, you know,
I'm surprised that there's no
disconnecting and reconnecting with your inner child. And I think maybe COVID, you know, God forbid that word, but I think this was the kind of generator for people to reconnect again. We're social animals. And I remember, you know, being on these panels and doing white label papers for COVID. And I was like, nothing's going to change. People are social animals. It'll be a quick fix.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, we need this social engagement. We need this one-on-one. We need to, you know, be a part of something bigger than us. And it's bigger than dining. It's bigger than drinking. You know, it's bigger than just the basic F&B offering. This is something that is completely immersive. And dinnertainment is very popular, if we coin the phrase there now, which has to have something more than just what we can order off the menu. So I think, it's definitely a shift in some of sort of the F&B dynamics that are happening around there. Like you mentioned, swingers, great concept, you know, Flights Club, where they're bringing old world darts. Darts are becoming immensely popular again. It's ridiculous.
I know.
You know, it's gone from these fat guys drinking beer and throwing darts to this, you know, phenomena where it just attracts people for a good time out. And I think that's beautiful as a sentiment, is that people want that engagement again. And I think play really sort of touches on that fact. And like I say, it's had a great sort of success and reception over in Vegas. We're rolling it out to the Middle East. We're rolling it out further afield to like Europe and UK. And the next venue is in Nashville, like I said, coming soon within the next few months.
That's fantastic. I am so.
Yeah, we got Jack Daniels, you know, IV bags that you can tap into. So, you know, it's all a bit of fun.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. All right. I'm going to be bringing up something else in just 1 second. I want to go back to Dubai for a minute, right? I'm sorry I didn't have this stuff loaded up ahead of time.
Oh, no worries, man.
I got it late, so I'm trying to do a screen share instead. So hold on, present.
Yeah, don't talk to me about all this tech stuff. I'm a pen and paper guy. So
I'm like, I've gotten way beyond where I can. All right, Bel Canto at the Dubai Opera House. So what I love, man, is that you are able to play in these multiple styles. And yeah, I use the word play on purpose over there. Now you're really reflecting, you know, something completely different. So how is someone who's creative, are you able to tap into those different universes of creativity? One, which is like the childlike fun of something, and this one, which is much more upscale, classical, and elegant.
Exactly. I mean, there's you know, Bel Canto and Eden. There's an aura of refinement for it. It's set in the Opera House in Dubai. It's a great location, and you know, it's all about having. I think that the generator for this was a little bit Twin Peaks, but David Lynch, and kind of inspired by a lot of film and, you know, cinematic experience. And you know, someone once said that I had 1,000 monkeys on acid in my brain that creates all these concepts. You know, and the monkeys have their way sometimes. But Bel Canto was, it was deeply rooted in creating that sort of drama and, you know, that sort of framing the scene like you know, like Lynch did in a lot of his sort of movies. You know, Twin Peaks, Eraserhead. You know, I mean, you got Blue Velvet. You know, the guy was an absolute genius. So it's all about creating these sort of quite sinister but beautiful moments at the same time. You know, the swinging pendulum chandelier. It's kind of set in motion, but it's frozen in animated time. You know, it's not moving. It's kind of suspended, and it creates this suspense around it. So it's all about having that theatrics, like you said. You know, we have to tap into all of these different influences. And I always say, you know, one of my phrases is never walk through the world with your eyes closed, because you're always receiving information from everywhere. And I do think film has played a very huge important role in my life, as well as music. And other sort of genres around that affect and influence your design capabilities. So yeah, we pride ourselves on never kind of replicating any project that we've done in the new project.
Right.
And you're only as good as your last work, and you still got to push
no,
that boundary and not be complacent. And I think that's why I wanted to come to Miami or the US, because it was a market that we hadn't really tapped into.
Right.
And you don't want to become complacent. You want to always challenge and push those boundaries, see as far as it will take you. And Belcanto was a great one. It's multidisciplinary. You had the obviously performance involved with it. We had obviously virtual mappings and projections in there. The location was in the Opera House. Outside, you're looking up at the Burj Khalifa. It's that money shot.
Yep.
So it was we're very sort of spoiled to have a venue like that, but it was something that we really kind of connected with. And I just wanted to create this sense of drama and capture that essence, not just because of the performance, having live shows and having that sort of visual engagement and physical engagement with an audience. And again, having that sort of entertainment focus. But the whole space is just really kind of held with suspense as soon as you exit in. Like I say, this swinging pendulum. It's like it's not moving, but it is moving. It's kind of like this parody and play on how Lynch and Peter Greenaway, another great genius, where the frame of his films are always shot static, and people walk across the frame. There's no panning of the camera. So this is what we tried to do with the interior. You frame that view, you frame that set. And I think, having film as a background and having a passion for theatre, that's the kind of direction I wanted to go in, was film and theatre, before I went into interiors.
I love that. So you're able to bring that love to the designs that you create. So
Absolutely.
How do you think about creating something that's highly impactful, but in the case of let's just bring up Eden Terrace over here, which is highly impactful, but not so much that it's distracting, because you're really trying to set the stage for the experience with the dining establishment, not overwhelm the experience.
Correct. And I think, like I say, it was a very difficult space. You were kind of held within this sort of interstices of the building, this envelope that was the Opera House. It was a bit of a dead space, it was just like a dumping ground outside it when we inherited it. And it's like, well, what can we do to really animate it? Still has a connection through with Belcanto, but it's a different, they're autonomous, but they have a homogeneous sort of appeal to it. So, you got this beautiful sort of, cityscape in the background with the Burj Khalifa that you can see on the right-hand side, just poking above. And, that's the icon of Dubai and everything it stands for. But, how do we approach it? We wanted to bring in a little bit more of a greenscape. This was like as Eden reflects the name, this is like an urban sanctuary, an urban paradise, that sat between this sort of envelope or the interstices, the belly of the building, So, it's something where we wanted to bring this visual element to it. So, we created multiple levels. We created sort of beautiful sort of pop-up layers coming through there. It is deeply layered, and it's deeply textured through layering as well, through the fabric, through the materiality. And if you can see this sort of background where you have this mesh with this sort of, DMX movement going through it. So basically we had a whole mesh that was studded with LED. So you could create a whole immersion and show that basically created like a transparent canopy. You could see through it, it's actually transparent, but you could run beautiful sort of, video DMX footage through there and create something very engaging. Like I say, you give it a sense of place, but you're also giving it, a reference to where it sits, and still allowing that sort of visual to penetrate beyond.
Yeah. How are you thinking about the furthering the design of hotels as we go forward? I know you work with a lot of independent brands, but to me, a lot of hotels look great, but they kind of are creating the same experience because hoteliers have gotten so great at delivering experience. So we're back to a scenario where everything is like kind of fungible to the average consumer. They don't really understand what the differences are. So how are you thinking about hotel design as a way to stick in the customer's mind that they want to sample, and then you get rewarded with great design and then want to come back?
Yeah, I say we work with multiple brands, and you're actually getting quite limited out there at the moment, right? With the with the operators that you have. I think we work with Accor and Ennismore. They've kind of cornered the market. Hilton have got another big chunk. Marriott have the rest, and then you have the independents. So you look at what they're doing, and they're all kind of reinventing their kind of MO and approach to things. Like you said, they've got sub brands, they've got autograph collections, you got all of these sort of boutique components under the one flagship. I think what Accor did was very clever, where they're bringing in all of these other sub brands, Mama's Shelter, and
that's a major thing in all the hotel industry.
Yeah,
you're right about Accor, crushing it overseas. Hyatt has been very quietly very successful at an acquisition strategy like that. Absolutely. Then brands like Hilton and Marriott started doing it. Although Marriott's got the big one when they bought Starwood, but that's
right. And so then they bought up all of the other brands like Trade set up, and and he's brought his sort of MO into the Edition. So again, it's kind of migrating, and I think when you look at it, you're talking about people and having these immersions and experiences, and people are going off the grid now. They want excitement. They want to be, overawed by something other than just a great hotel with a great offering in a great location. They want to go completely off the grid, and I think that's kind of where we're sort of a lot of the sort of the hospitality experiences are driving it. You've got this sense of community, but you've also got a sense of community with people who are like-minded, who want this thing going off the grid. Accor are now doing the Orient Express, and they have the Orient Express yacht and ship. So again, they're trying to diversify into different platforms.
Ritz got a yacht.
Right. And I'm actually, fortunate enough that I'm going on the Orient Express.
Hey.
So it's like it's a bucket list tick box thing.
That's awesome.
But you see these hotels going off the grid, and a lot of them are very boutique. A lot of things happening in South and Central America, especially as well. You're really going off point just to have that whole catered bespoke experience, and I think that's the key. It becomes bespoke to the individual instead of it just being an offering, and I don't think that can all be achieved through design. Like you said, I think it's a mindset. I think it's got to be something that's channeled in and it's like approached together. And this is part of the reason that I set up a company here with my friend and partner James called Custard. So Custard is another element of Bishop Design where they can bring in and cultivate and create and curate these experiences that we can pitch out to hotel operators and F&B operators, give them something a little bit different. We're trying to think of a more holistic approach, a little bit more off the grid, that it's not just about design. Design is obviously an important component and complements that, but Custard is something that will create and curate the whole immersion and experience and give the clientele something different. So it's something we're playing around with at the moment, and more to come from that. Well, but everyone loves a bit of custard, right? So that's
that's for sure, but only in small doses. But you know what they say, a little bit goes a whole long
Exactly. We'll start with a little bit first,
but also I think that ties into the whole idea of design. A little bit. You don't need too much, because if you have too much, that's when I think it becomes overbearing and starts to distract from your overall goal.
You're absolutely right.
So I'm just hunching it out.
Oh, you're saying some good stuff there, Glenn. You're saying some good stuff. We'll have to talk later. But you're absolutely right. You hit the nail right on the head there. Sometimes a good design is about what you leave out. It's not about what you put in. And there's a very finite line of over design or under design, but sometimes, like I say, what you leave out really gives it that impact that you strive for, and not everyone has that ability to find that balance and create that balance. And also, as interior designers, not so much in the Middle East, not so much here in Miami, because we inherit virtually new structures. There's not much old build, or things that you can bring in to enhance the design. So especially in the Middle East, if you use certain materials, it could come across as being faux or fake, and it just becomes gimmicky. So again, you got to be very careful that if you're inheriting a glass, structure, or just a breeze block structure as a shell and core, if you start to put like brownstone brick in there, you know, to replicate something that you see in New York or further afield, it instantly becomes faux and Disney-like, you know. So
yeah, no,
we've got to be very careful that what we do, and in Miami as well, because the buildings here, it's all new, it's all being built. It's the same MO, same as Vegas. You know, there's very little of buildings that we can inherit to really enhance the interiors that we do.
It's like someone inherits a building, knock it down,
build a new one, right?
Right now.
I just was a sandpit.
I was driving on the strip the other day, and to see how Mirage, the volcano's already gone, and the whole front part of the building up to the dome is gone.
It's crazy.
It's just crazy. But Paul, we got to wrap up because I've got to go host something for our friend Hotel Business magazine at the top of the hour. Yeah, if you still haven't registered for that event, be sure.
I will do.
Yeah, I don't expect you to do that, Paul. That's more for them. But I did have a great time talking with you. And when you start settling on Miami, I want to have you back. But before we go, I just want to say one more thing. I love adaptive reuse projects. And I think that's kind of what you were getting at, because it helps really underscore that design, and you can really take it in a new direction. Have you had a chance to work on a lot of those prior? Because you've been in Dubai for 28 years, and now you're in Miami.
Right. I mean, we've been in Miami 3 years. So, yeah, I mean, look, venues and buildings have shelf life. So, yeah, we're seeing it a lot more here in the US where we can, like, say, with Play, it was a redacted reuse of an old restaurant. You know, so again, it was something a little bit more dynamic. We just completed a restaurant in Coconut Grove called Soraya, which is a 2-star Michelin Portuguese offering. We're doing something with Carbone and the Major Food Group guys. And we're just about to do a really exciting. We're just about to start one now. We just signed it a couple of days ago. A really exciting reuse and adapted reuse of space in the design district in Miami. So that's a good one. So I can't divulge too much yet, but we'll be putting it out there soon.
It's all good. Meanwhile, why don't you all go to wearebishopdesign.com. Wearebishopdesign.com. Get to learn a little bit about them. Paul, I'm going to put you in the back. Let me wrap up. So thank you so much for being here. Don't go anywhere.
Pleasure.
Thank you. I want to thank you guys for being here today. Paul was freaking awesome. I just love that. And hey, you're going to want to rewatch this show, so make sure you subscribe. Text the word hotel to the 266-866. That's hotel to 66866. Woo, I'm feeling that 10 days in Arizona and Vegas right about now. Follow everything that we do. Join us at 1 p.m. for a great show with our friends over at Hotel Business Magazine. Check right here on your profile, wherever you're watching it, to get the link to register for that event. And then I'll be recording a show later today with interim president Camden Carey of the AHLA, which will run tomorrow. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks for being here. Take care. Have a great day. And remember, you've got one life, so